Hello and welcome to the Baker Senior Show. This is a fantastic opportunity. And today we have a special tip. It's a big one on how to get the Medicare experience to be a little easier for us, to simplify it. Right, Steve?
Correct.
How are you today?
Doing good. Doing great.
Good. Well, I'm really excited to hear that you have found a way to simplify this process because let's face it, if you're coming into Medicare, it's a little daunting. It's a big daunt.
Right.
So if you can make it easier for us, we're really appreciative. So tell
Sure.
us a little bit of this tip that you're going to relay.
Okay. Today I want to talk about something that almost no one knows, but it could help you understand Medicare. And it's a way to guide yourself if you have any questions whatsoever about Medicare. One of the things you could do is to call me. That's one thing you could do. But the other thing that you need to do, and you could probably tell this to any of your friends as well, is that Medicare, first off, has a website. You could go on the website. Second thing it is a phone number. Now, here's the way the Medicare phone number works. Little known secrets.
Is this the 800 number that you line up?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. 1-800-633-4227. If you have any questions at all about anything dealing with Medicare, you can call that number. But typically when you say you can call that number, that would be like 8 to 5, something like that, 9 to 5 maybe. It's the standard, time that you can call people for anything. Not with Medicare. You can call them, get this, 24/7, 7 days a week. So 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, Saturday, Sunday, holidays, even you can call them on holidays. Someone will always be there to answer the phone, and you can ask any questions you need about Medicare. 1-800-633-4227 is the number. Now, I do this all the time, with my clients, and a lot of times I'll put them on a 3-way call. If I'm somehow stumped, I don't know the direct answer for that, and they're on the other line, I can put on a conference call and call Medicare, and someone will answer the phone, and we all three can have a conversation.
That's probably the best bet, because if you don't know what to ask, you may get on there and talk to somebody, but you don't get your questions answered because you don't know the right question to ask. So
Correct.
That would be my thing, is to call Steve at 832-754-3292. And then if you can't get the answers, or if he is stumped, which I can't believe happens, but okay. Then he could get you on a 3-way call to the Medicare Hotline.
Exactly. 24/7, 7 days a week.
So are you trying to tell me that at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, you're not going to answer someone's call? That they have to call this 800 number instead?
Probably not. Probably not.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the Medicare number, and they're always nice. The way it works is that they have people stationed all over the United States, and somehow they feed the phone lines into whatever. You may be talking to somebody in Connecticut or California or wherever.
Yes.
But you're still talking with a Medicare person, and most of the time, of course, they know the answers to whatever question we might have for them.
This is interesting, Steve, because I have a show on Mondays called Work from Home, and we do give tips on different things that you could do from your computer or from your home. And I'm
Correct.
sure that that's one of them, where they hire people, like you said, in different time zones so that they don't miss out on some sleep, or they can get up a little later, or get up earlier, or go to bed later,
Right.
and have a job where they're answering the Medicare questions. Now, I imagine that they have access to important information that most of us don't. They're probably tapped in through their computer into the big computer, at the United States level,
Right.
that can answer questions that they don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. And most people, I would say 99% of people don't know that and don't realize that.
Right.
But I tell my clients about it all the time, and they're totally amazed. So one lady, she said, I set my alarm clock for 3:30, and I was going to test this to see. She called me, Steve, they answered the phone and they answered my question. I'm going, okay, I'm glad you didn't wake me up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's Medicare has grown, it has evolved over the years, and now they're more sensitive to the people, the constituents out there who need answers and need questions. So I don't know why they did it, and I don't know how they came up with the idea, but that's just the way it is. That's for Medicare itself. Now, there's one other area that you need to know about as far as a phone number, and the reason you need to know about it is if you're brand new to Medicare and you want to ask a question about enrollment. How do you enroll in Medicare? How do you get started? That is even, it's a quirk, and it's another thing that people don't really know or realize, is that if you're signing up for Medicare and you want to get into Medicare, you don't call this. Now, this makes little sense, but that's just the way it is. You don't call Medicare. You call Social Security.
What?
Yes. to sign up
Okay.
to sign up for Medicare.
Now, why is that?
I don't know. My grandchildren ask me a lot all the time. What is it? I said, why is the sky blue? I don't know. It's just blue.
Well,
It's not it's not yellow. It's not red. It's not purple. It's blue. The
sometimes
sky's
it's
blue.
purple. Sometimes it's red, purple. Come
Occasionally it
on,
is.
come on.
But
So, no, really and truly, why do you think they would want you to call Social Security to get on Medicare? I mean, it doesn't even make any sense.
nope, it
No.
doesn't.
All right.
But once someone is involved in their set as far as enrollment, they have their enrollment done. All the other calls is through Medicare. If you have questions at any point, and if someone's turning 65, surely through the years you're going to have questions about your Medicare and how it works. And most of my clients really, they get their Medicare card, and if depending on whether they're on Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage, they feel like they're set. They don't have to worry. Nothing happens, whatever. And a lot of times, most of the time, all of my clients actually just call me. And I got one yesterday, a nice call from a nice lady. I talked with her for a long time, and she gave me her name, and I'm going, sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. Oh, I said, are you one of my clients? She said, yeah, Steve. Oh, okay. So,
Oh my God,
so I
Steve.
real quick went and pulled her file, and sure enough, I had all my notes there and everything.
Oh, that's good.
So the more clients I get, the older I get, the more that happens. So,
Well, I have a case scenario for you. Now, you helped me with a friend of mine who has Alzheimer's.
Uh-huh.
So this particular woman is 70 years old, and she was being driven to the doctors and the hospitals and all that stuff. And so she had regular Medicare.
Uh-huh.
Am I right? Am I right in saying that? She had
Correct.
regular Medicare with a supplement, okay? And
Mhm.
so she was able to go to the doctor and get her prescriptions and everything. But just like the rest of us, we literally go to the doctor. Well, it got to the point where she had to move into a personal care home. And
Mhm.
so I talked to Steve about it, and he said, Marion, there is a way for her to get her on a different kind of Medicare supplement where the doctor can come visit her instead.
Uh-huh.
And that really solved a lot of problems. So we moved her into the personal care home, kind of like a nursing home, but it's private, I guess you could
Uh-huh.
call it. And it worked out fine. The doctor came to visit the home, and she was covered. The prescriptions got delivered to the home, and it seemed like it was working pretty well. Well, the reason I had to call Steve back again is because now we need to move her to a different home. So I had to call Steve because I'm like, well, what if this doctor doesn't go to this new home? What if it's in a different part of town? Do I have to change her Medicare again? I had all these questions. Uh, not just how we're going to move her, where we're going to move her. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, is she going to be covered with insurance? That kind of stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I suggest that you always have Steve's number. And you should have it on your refrigerator or in your wallet so that you can call anytime you have a question like that. That's not something I want to call an 800 number for. This is where I want to be able to call Steve at 832-754-3292 and say, Steve, what do I do? How am I going to handle this?
Right.
And so he was able to guide me and tell me exactly what to do. As a matter of fact, he said, do you want me to help you? He's just very helpful. He's a helpful guy. I appreciate you, Steve.
Right. Well, thanks very much.
Hmm. So that's a story that you can tell anybody that's looking to use you as their guide through the Medicare maze.
Uh-huh. Yep. There we go.
So we didn't have to use any names. It's just a friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
There we go. Now, the third thing that I want to talk to you about this morning is, or this afternoon, or this evening, or whatever, whenever you're watching this, is Medicare open enrollment. And
Oh, yes.
there's a lot of confusion about this. Of course, as we speak and as we're talking now, the month is July, but then you've got the months coming up. Before you know it, it's going to be time to consider some things. Now, just for review, I'll say that there are two kinds of Medicare. One is, I call it traditional Medicare, and with that you get the supplement. And a lot of people prefer that for lots of reasons. I'm not going to go into all the details about it, but a lot of people prefer that. Other people prefer something that's called Medicare Advantage. And they're two different worlds, totally two different worlds. So one doesn't relate to the other, so to speak, but they're both out there, and I can talk to you about the advantages and perhaps some disadvantages to both. So you need to be educated about that first. But when you do that, particularly with the Medicare Advantage, there are all kinds of ways or circumstances where people can call Medicare and get involved with that, with any of those. The better way is to call me, and I can talk to you, walk you through whatever enrollment period that you're in. For right now, we're in July, so we have the something that's called the special enrollment period going on. And if you qualify for that, depending on your situation and your circumstances, on the Medicare Advantage side, we could possibly get you some help and get you changed or enrolled in that if you qualify for the special enrollment period. Now, as we talk about a lot, uh, October 15th through December 7th is what's called open enrollment. Now, in a way, it sort of affects both sides of it, because if you're on traditional Medicare and you happen to have prescriptions and you have a prescription program on the side with open enrollment, you can qualify in that period of time to change your prescriptions. So no matter how long you've been in Medicare, it's always important to use that period of time, October 15th through December 7th, to check your prescriptions and see if you can get a better situation.
Steve, let's unpack that a little bit. What do you mean by a different prescription? I mean, if you have a prescription for something, don't you?
Well, there are numbers of companies. The prescriptions are run through private companies, and there are numbers of companies out there that do the Medicare prescription program. So if you're part of that, which most people on Medicare are, not to confuse you further, but if you have your traditional Medicare A and B card, and you have your supplement along with that, you can rock along for years and not ever change that. Occasionally, when your supplement, the premiums get up a little higher, I can always check and see if you could possibly move to a less expensive supplement program. That's always a possibility, depending on your health and your history for health. But the thing that you've got to remember is that no matter, not attached to your health, is that you always have a Part D program. Remember, we have Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. D is your prescription program. There's a plethora of companies out there that do those and get involved with those. So you can call them up, share your prescriptions with them, and see if you could possibly get a better program that doesn't involve all the other parts of it. If you can get a better program at a less expensive price. So I was going through AEP this past year. My wife, I married an older lady, so she was in Medicare. I'm kidding. But she's in Medicare herself, and I'm her agent. So I'm talking to all my clients and da 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 da. When are you going to do I gotta check into my prescriptions. My prescription program is too high. Okay. You know how it goes, right? A plumber's wife never gets her plumbing handled, right? So
I agree.
So finally, a few days after, toward the end of it, I sat her down and we got a kitchen table and said, okay, we're going to call them up. And sure enough, she could save about $30 to $40 a month by transferring her prescription program. As long as you do it during this period, there's no problem with your health and all that kind of stuff as far as the Part D program. So we switched her over, and she is so happy with the plan that she's on now. But come October 15th, we're gonna check it again, because they all change in that period of time. When I say they all change, I'm talking about the Medicare Part D program, not the other components of Medicare. So those, it's important to do that, and it's definitely important to check that.
There's just too much information for most people to try to keep track of. So the best thing for you to do is just to call Steve. Okay, so if they're turning 65, that's another time when 6 months before, 6 months after, that's an enrollment period. Now, who would have known that? The only reason I know that is because of Steve. And Steve is, I'm getting closer and closer to that age, and he's starting to educate me. But I don't want to keep all that information in my head. So as I'm getting closer to the age or questions I might have, all I have to do is call Steve and say, what do I do now? Like I got something in the mail, and I don't have it here around me right now, but I got something in the mail at age 62. I got something in the mail that said I needed to do something right now for my Medicare. And I'm like, what? And so I don't need to keep all this information in my head. Steve is a phone call away. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the three things that I wanted to talk to everyone about, this time, because particularly the first one, which I talked about, Medicare is open at any time. And by the way, for any questions whatsoever, you can always call 1-800-Medicare. And another option there is to have your list of medications and call them up at 12 o'clock in the evening, or
Probably no wait time.
no wait time. Exactly. They'll answer the phone and talk to Medicare about your prescriptions. That's a possibility. So I'm pretty busy from October 15th through December 7th, and all agents are, because it's a particularly intense period of time when you're talking to a lot of people and so forth. But feel free to give me a call at any time. So those are the three things that I wanted to bring up. And so, you have any other questions or comments about Medicare this morning?
I am pretty clear that I need to just call you as I'm getting closer to that age. So you wouldn't even think, okay, I'm getting ready to turn 65. You wouldn't even think to yourself, I should probably 6 months before I should call Steve. But that's really when it should start, because not only can he help you get your plan together, but also you can have some peace of mind. And that's exactly what the Baker Senior Show is about. Healthcare peace of mind. Because if you know what's coming, and Steve is aware that he's going to be the one taking care of you and helping you, he's going to go over without any rush, okay? Without any rush, he's going to go over the plan. Because you do have choices. It's not like Steve's going to go, okay, well, you have to do it this way and you have to do it that way, and that's it. No, he's going to go over your choices. So I think a lot of people don't realize they have choices, Steve.
Correct.
Like my friend with Alzheimer's. She had a choice. She could pay someone to pick her up and take her to the doctor from her personal care home. Now, I just found out, because I've been looking for a new place for her to live, that they charge $50 an hour to do that. Well, okay, $50, they pick her up. It's going to be at least 4 hours by the time they pick her up and bring her back home. 50, 150, that's $200 every time she goes to the doctor or gets her prescriptions or whatever. Steve knew that was not going to be, it's not in her budget. So he found other options for her where it can be delivered and the doctor could come to the home. So I think that's really what I want people to know, is that you have options. Whether you're still working and you're turning 65, you have options. Whether you're, who would have known that you have to go to Social Security? They would have been searching around trying to find out how to get on Medicare. And if we didn't know you, we wouldn't know we need to go to Social Security. Especially right now with COVID, everything is closed down. You have to do everything online. What if you can't get through? What if you can't get to anybody?
Yes, I might mention that as we're speaking, it's toward the end of July of 2020. And since about the middle of March or so of this year, all Social Security offices have been closed. So if you go to a Social Security office, like we used to, I used to tell people, well, just go to the Social Security office and they'll be able to help you and help you move you through and so forth. Well, as we're speaking presently, as far as I know, the last time I checked, all the Social Security offices were still closed.
So you have to go online or call them.
Go online or call them. And there's a way, that you can actually go online to sign up for Medicare. But as we've just talked about, those are there. However, you can actually sign up with Social Security online, and there's a few tricks to that. So I can give you some advice and help you in that regard as well. So any questions, fine. I'll be able to help you and guide you, move you in the right direction.
There's one other thing I want to mention before we go off the air, and that is Steve is willing to come to the corporations and do presentations. Now, he does not, he's very safe and secure. He'll wear his mask, and he'll come into your corporation and either talk to the HR department or do a presentation. So if you have enough people that your HR department knows that this is a very good thing for you to understand, Steve can come in. Now, he can also do Zoom, which I think a lot of people don't realize, that as long as you have an internet connection and a camera, you and Steve can get on Zoom no matter where you are, and he can guide you through this. It doesn't have to just be over the phone or a physical place where you guys meet, no Starbucks, okay? He can get on Zoom, which is a way for you to securely talk about what your needs are, you and your family, with Steve. So just give him a call and he'll figure it out so that you can have what you need. Steve, thank you for all your information. There's something new every day, isn't there?
Yes, sure is.
Yeah. Well, we're live here on YouTube and Facebook every Tuesday, and we're here Central Time at 8 o'clock in the morning. But that doesn't mean you can't watch every show, because we have replays, and we're also on your favorite podcast app. So be sure and look for us. And if you're driving down the road and you want to learn more about Medicare, all you have to do is get on your favorite podcast app and put your earbuds in, and away you go. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks.
Bye for now.